Hi everyone, welcome to vlog, I think number 11, my short and not sweet journey with Paroxetine. A few disclaimers. I am not a professional, I don't know what I'm talking about, don't take this as the rules or the law. This is what I've been through. This is my story that I'm sharing in the hope that people that are thinking about going on Paroxetine or are thinking of tapering off or just want to know more about it or are on it and just want to feel a bit less alone or like they want to know that other people are going through the same thing. It's for that. It's for people to watch, and it's not right or wrong. Everyone's journey is different, as I always say. So this is just my story. Yeah, this is my journey. Yeah, got no hair, so that's been gone for about a week and a half. I will film a vlog about it, but I shaved it all off for Mind Mental Health charity after 6 months of fundraising, which is awesome, but we'll go into that another day. And also, before we start, just a trigger warning. I do talk about self-harm in this video, so if you know that one of your triggers is someone talking about self-harm, I'll let you know when we're coming up to it, so you can skip it or just don't watch it if you know that it's not good for you. So yeah, let's go. Let's talk about Paroxetine. Kind of a synopsis is that I was on it for 7 weeks altogether. I absolutely hated it and I will never go on it again. So here we go. What is Paroxetine? So Paroxetine is an SSRI, a selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Serotonin is a chemical in the brain. And an SSRI, which is a kind of antidepressant, there are different kinds. If this is the first time you're going on antidepressants, research what different kinds there are and talk to your doctor about it. But SSRIs are thought to increase the levels of serotonin in your brain. Serotonin is the chemical that is thought to help alleviate mood and emotion and troubles with sleep. People take Paroxetine, they are prescribed it for depression, anxiety, OCD, panic attacks, and post-traumatic stress disorder of varying degrees. It's thought to be a newer medication that has less side effects than older medications, so it's becoming more popular. I beg to differ, but whatever. You take it in a pill, you usually start at 20 milligrams, as with most antidepressants, and you get put up with, by how bad your symptoms are or by how well you're reacting with it. You can take it in a liquid form as well, I saw, but I've never heard of that or whatever. So why did I decide to take Paroxetine? If you have seen my vlogs before, you will know that I was on Cymbalta, Duloxetine for 2 years, and just before my ski season last year, I decided to finally come off of them. I think that was probably mistake number one. Shouldn't have come off of antidepressants just before I moved country for 6 months, but I did. So I got to my ski season and I just felt like I wasn't quite myself. I was having a pretty hard time after coming off of Cymbalta, Duloxetine. I was down a lot, I was very lethargic, and my big red alert for something if I know that I'm having a hard time is that I just cry very randomly. I can't explain why I'd be crying. So I'd be going to bed and I'd be crying, or I'd be at work and I just started crying, and I was like, okay, something's wrong here. I was in a place that I loved, Maribel, that I'd been before, that I really enjoyed. I was with people that I loved. It's a beautiful place in the Alps, and I just wasn't feeling happy or excited to be there. And I thought, I'm aware that this is maybe to do with coming off my meds. So I kept an eye on it. And it got worse and worse. So in the in the end, yeah, I decided, actually, you know what, I don't feel guilty about taking meds. No one should ever feel guilty about taking antidepressants, and I was very aware that I would probably have to go back on them. So I was out there and I thought, actually, yeah, it's time to try a new one. So I went to the doctors out there, which I think was mistake number 2. I didn't see my own doctor. I went to see a French doctor that I'd never met, didn't have my medical history, didn't know about me, and within a 5-minute appointment, he asked me one question: do you cry a lot? And I said, yeah. And he was like, are you sad a lot? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, I'm going to give you Paroxetine. And I was like, Okay. So obviously I asked about them, asked what the side effects were. He said, oh, there shouldn't be too many side effects. He put me on 20 milligrams and off we went. I got home, and if you've watched my Cymbalta Paroxetine video, which I'll link, you will know that I didn't research my first medication that I got put on. So now I am keen to make sure everyone and myself researches. I will always research any medication now, because it was a big mistake with the medication not to research. So I researched Paroxetine, and I found some good stuff about it. I found people that had been on it for years and years and really enjoyed it. I still found a lot of bad reviews, but less bad stories and reviews than when I had eventually researched Cymbalta and duloxetine. So I was like, okay, this is positive, this is good. So I was really, really keen to start them. I was like, I'm not in a good place and I'm ready to start. As if you've been on medication before and you've tried different ones, you know that the first couple of weeks can be really, really tough. So I was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to get through the first couple of weeks. What it did to me, the effects of Paroxetine. Sorry, I've got my book here, so just having a look. Yeah. So the first night I took it maybe about 10 p.m. After food, and that night I couldn't sleep, and then I had some really horrible hallucinations. I woke up and I thought someone was stuck outside my flat in the snow, and I thought I could hear them screaming, and they were stuck under a mound of snow. But I was so lethargic and so tired that I couldn't get up, and I kept drifting in and out of sleep, and it was horrible. And I just remember waking up and everything being really reddy brown, and being so scared for this person outside. And obviously in the morning I woke up and I was like, there's no one outside. I checked, there was no one in the snow outside. Yeah, it really interrupted sleep. It was really horrible. I've never had a hallucination like that. I really thought it was real, but I couldn't really move my body very well. I was so tired and lethargic that I couldn't move. So I woke up the next day and couldn't even open my eyes. I had to call my manager and say, I'm so sorry, I can't come into work. These new meds I've just felt like I couldn't. I felt like I'd been given a drug that just made you so sleepy. And then I slept all day. And then the next morning I was like, no, I have to go to work. I was so lethargic. I've never been like it before. I couldn't even open my eyes properly. I was a zombie. I was a zombie. I got to work and I was not there. I might as well have not been there. I was slow. I was working as a hostess, so I was cleaning rooms, and I could have fallen asleep standing up. It was so slow. I had to sit down every 10 minutes. I couldn't really hear what people were saying, and I was like, okay, we'll carry on. This is only going to be a week or so. I couldn't go out skiing. I was way too tired. My body wasn't working properly. It would have been dangerous. I just had to sleep all day. By the evening, it kind of had worn off because I was taking them just before I slept in the night. In the evening, it had kind of worn off, but I still was not myself. I was very zombified. I felt so foggy, and I wanted to stay in bed all day, and I just wanted to sleep. But I knew that could have been a side effect. So this carried on for a couple of weeks, and also insomnia, horrific insomnia. I didn't sleep a good night, just waking up loads, really, really interrupted sleep for weeks. Yeah. So after 3 or 4 weeks, I'm aware that 4 weeks, between 4 and 6 weeks, your antidepressant medication is supposed to start working. In some, they say that you can feel it within 2 weeks, but most they say within 4 to 6 weeks. So within 4 to 6 weeks, I wasn't feeling any better. I was still crying a lot randomly. I was still feeling really low. I didn't want to go out and be sociable. And I was like, okay, at this point, I'm aware that maybe I should be feeling better, and I'm definitely not, so let's keep an eye on it. By week 6, so this is where I'm going to talk about self-harm. If you want to skip this bit or turn off here or whatever, just in case it's a trigger for you, please do. I'd started getting, between week maybe 3 to 6, started getting self-harm thoughts about self-harm. I'm not a person that self-harms. It's not a part of my mental illness. It has been in the past, maybe 7 years ago, but it's not something I've thought about or has come into my mind for maybe 6-7 years. So this was a real red alert for me. I was like, that's something's not right there. And if I wasn't having those thoughts when I wasn't on my medication, why am I now having those thoughts when I am on medication that should be making me feel better? And it got to the point where I did self-harm in the end, and that was the day when I thought, no, like this isn't going right. You have to be self-aware. You have to be really self-aware when you're on new medication. Is this making me a different person in a good way, or is this making me a different person in a bad way? And if it's making you a different person in a bad way, then you need to come off of it and try something different. That's not what you're on this medication for. You're on it to help you become a hopefully calmer, less anxious person. And that wasn't right. That wasn't good for me. So I was having a really, really bad day, got home from work, couldn't leave the bed, and just had really horrible self-harm thoughts. So I called my friend that was in Maribel, and he came over, and I said, I don't know what to do. I feel like it's my medication, because I knew I was going running and doing yoga and mindfulness and eating well. So I knew I was doing everything on the outside that I could to make sure that I was being healthy and keeping my, doing things to help my mental health. So I kind of knew by this time it was the meds. It wasn't the situation I was in. It wasn't myself. It was something that I was putting into my body, the medication. So I said to him, I don't know what to do. Should I stay here and try and come off of them? Because I know it can be really hard to taper off. Should I go home for a week because I was on a season? And he said, yeah, you need to go home. You need to call your mum. You're not in a good way. So I called my mum and I said, look, or I text my mum, I think. I said, I need to come home for a week. I want to taper off of these. And I know that being in this environment where I'm house sharing and room sharing and working long hours, or like early hours and hard work, probably isn't the best place. So I talked to my manager and my boss, and they were so understanding. They were amazing. They gave me, like they said, I could have as long as I needed it off to go home and taper off and do what I need to do. So I came back to England. Came back to England. I told my mum what was going on. I told her I was going to come home and taper off, and I knew it could be really hard from coming off Cymbalta and Paroxetine. And I started by researching again other people tapering off, what side effects they had, how they did it. And there wasn't a huge amount of stuff on people coming off, actually. There were more side effects and stories that I found from people going on it and living on it as opposed to tapering off. So I started by halving them, so down to 10 milligrams, and then I halved them again to 5 milligrams, and then this was over a couple of weeks, and obviously every day I was very self-aware and just like kept an eye on myself. How am I feeling? How am I doing? Are there any side effects going on? And there weren't, so I just carried on the tapering process. If I had side effects, like with my Cymbalta, I would know from second time around to slow down the tapering process. You're gonna feel impatient if you want these things out of you, and to go on to a new medication. You're gonna want it to be as quick as possible, because you're trying to find your best version of you with medication. So it's easy to rush it. Do not rush it. It's imperative not to rush it. So the fact that I knew that I wasn't having any side effects, I was having like a slight headache or being lethargic, but I can't say that was definitely because of that, because it wasn't bad enough. So it took me about a week to taper off, and I didn't really have any side effects at all, which I'm so pleased to say, because compared to coming off Cymbalta Paroxetine, it was much easier. But I'm wondering if that's because I was on such low dosage, 20 milligrams, and I had only been on them for 7 weeks. I wonder if I had been on them a lot longer, or my dosage had been higher, if I would have had more side effects. But luckily I didn't. So I then went to see my doctor in England with my medical records and everything, and they put me on citalopram, which is where I'm at now. I'm on citalopram and I'm loving it. I'll do another vlog on it. This is just about paroxetine. I haven't taken a breath, and so they came off and they're out of my life, and I will not go back on them. I have a friend who's been on them. She's on 40 milligrams, and she messaged me because I'd said on my Instagram that I was going to taper off, and she messaged me saying she's really not enjoying them. They make her feel very numb. She'd mentioned that she tried to go cold turkey on them, and after 10 days it went really wrong, and she wasn't feeling good, so she's now trying to taper off of them too, which is awesome. I have other friends on them. I have a couple of friends, Instagram followers that messaged me saying that they've been on them for years and they really enjoyed them. So and they're living on them now, and they find that they really help, because every single person is different. So don't take this as right or wrong. Don't let this completely put you off. Do as much research as you can. If you're thinking of going on to paroxetine or looking for a medication to go on, or thinking about tapering off of paroxetine, don't take this as your be-all and end-all. Look around. Also, just want to say, like, hats off and like a big shout out to anyone going on medication at the minute, on medication, coming off medication, trying to find the right medication for them. It can feel like limbo. Like, think about this. It takes 4 to 6 weeks for these medications to even begin to work. During that 4 to 6 weeks, especially the first 3 weeks, you can have horrific side effects of lethargic, nausea, vomiting, feeling more depressed, feeling suicidal, feeling more anxious, increased heart rate, everything you can think of. The side effects can be horrific for 3 weeks. Then you don't even know if they're going to work for up to about 6 or 7 weeks. And then if you decide you want to taper off of them again, it's going to take you at least another 2 weeks to a month. That's like 10, 11 weeks of your life for one medication. Some people find their medication straight away that's right for them, but some people don't find the right medication until they're on their 5th type. It's like living in limbo, like if it's not working for you, or waiting to see if it's going to work for you. So there's hats off to everyone like that's going through that right now, or is, trying to find their right medication. You're awesome. Like, it's so hard to explain what you're going through, but for those of us that know, you rock. You're awesome. You are awesome. Yeah. So that's me. My next couple of vlogs, hopefully I'm going to have my yoga vlog up from 6 months ago at last, because my laptop's working again. So hopefully that'll be up a similar time as this one. My next vlog is going to be about therapy, and hopefully I'm going to have a guest with me, which will be so awesome. Then I'm going to do a vlog about citalopram, and then I'm hoping to visit the therapy dog. There's a company where I live, and there's dogs that they use for therapy. So hopefully I'm going to do one about that, which will be awesome. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has been informative, or has made you feel a little bit less alone and alienated, or has given you an insight into paroxetine. Have an awesome day.